So I just picked this up for free because the last guy on a piece of property left it there and the landlord wanted it gone. So it's a John Deere, kind of like that one, except yeah, somebody had to go at it with red house paint, I'm guessing. Doesn't look particularly good. Doesn't have a deck on it. But here's the interesting thing. We've got this one switch here, which appears to control this starter solenoid, which goes to the motor. And then it's just hooked up with a standard belt. Well, the motor does turn. That's a good sign. All right, folks, here we go. I've got it in reverse. Let's see what happens. Nothing at all. Nothing. That is one way to connect a wire. Nothing. Well, there's the inside of the motor. Turns just fine. Commutator looks decent. Brushes are sunk in a ways, but don't seem terrible. Well, pulled these out, and now when I try to put these back in, yeah, they fall all the way down, which means there's no tightening them. So turn it a little by hand, and it started to turn. Just thinking about it, something ain't happy. Now, this little guy says 36 volt. Don't know how you'd fit 36 volts under there, though. Now, would you believe, I don't have a 36 volt battery laying around. You know what I do have? A couple of little 12s. I want to see if it even kicks. It's enough to make the solenoid go now, though. Whoa! That's about the 5th time it's done that. There we go. Oh. Yeah, I suppose it had belt tension on it, huh? I go out on a limb here and say this used to have a spline on it, and the last guy just powered it up, took an angle grinder and made a shaft out of it, which is clever. Still no identifying marks. I think I might know what's wrong with this thing. Pretty sure these two go to your field windings, and these two go to the armature. So I've only been powering up the armature without powering the field windings, which for some damn reason are shunted. But yeah, I'm just gonna swap those. See what happens. Contact. That's more like it. Alive. Good enough for a lawnmower. I am still quite confused by these bolts. They don't seem to have anything to go into. I can only assume they're just sort of missing it, but it doesn't look like this is clocked because that line still lines up. Well, a little bit of additional brutality. I took the pulley off and I was able to push that through. This is a separate piece. Well, nothing special about that. Guess I just had them lined up wrong. So I've decided that these bolts are bullshit. Even if I got them in, if I ever had to take the damn thing apart again, I would be up against the same problem. So yeah, those are going into the spares bin. And I have picked up a piece of 1/4 20 all thread rod. Well, that was easy. Got it all lined up. I just used these plastic insulator drinking straw looking things off the old bolts. Stuck them in from this end. Obviously had the all thread screwed into that end. Used this gap here to get them lined up. Sleeved one over the other. Yeah, so now I just got to push the straws out the way. And then I can cinch this whole thing back together. Getting this guy back on there. Bob's your auntie. Started wondering how heavy this thing was. Yeah, it's heavy. Good to know. I think it's in neutral. Let's find out. Beautiful. Make sure I can't get to it. Yep. Wrong way. Well, I know it works. Well, reverse works as forward. I think I gotta swap around the other wires. Well, I got to thinking about it. Made a lot of sense. I reversed the polarity in the armature there, but I also reversed it in the stator, so it didn't really matter. So I reversed current in just the stator. Now I should have forward gears. Disconnect the air raid siren. Yeah, not quite sure what's up with that. It's not the motor, it's coming from back in here someplace. Well, I was gonna fix the noise, and then I found the noise. So for the moment, I plan to ignore it. I'm back on this project today because these two batteries have just fallen into my lap. They're quite heavy, they're lead acid. I think they were last used 2016, 17? I don't know, there were labels on them, but I think the pack rat piss had washed away the Sharpie. Anyway, I've got them wired up, so yeah, we're gonna see what this thing does on 24 volts. Go ahead and get my not having to listen to this devices on. Really? Well, it sounds annoying, but it's working. There. Ooh, brakes. No brakes. Roll. Right. Now, see if it makes the horrible noise. Now, let's put it in neutral and then see if it makes the horrible noise. Hey! Well, that's nicer. So, let's just slap her in the maximum chooch. This is going to be a little bit sketchy because the brake doesn't seem to do anything. Whichever one of these is the brake doesn't do anything. And this is my on-off switch. So good luck, everybody. Brisk startup. Well, wasn't bad at all. A lot quieter too. So let's see here. That, not warm. Not warm. Not warm. How about that stupid little shunt wire? It's the smallest wire in the whole system. It is still nice and cool. Bitchin'. Steering really sucks though. No brakes. Steering still feels like crap. High gear. One hand. Let's go check the mail. God, that's a lurch. There we go. If I give it one more pulse, let's see if I can get right to the mailbox. Hey, there we go. Ooh. Nice shortcut here. Get stuck like a dipshit. Pretty steep now. Camera level. That's not bad. Man, apart from being hideous and slow and not having any brakes, this isn't half bad. So, funny story, when I picked this thing up, this brake was fully seized, and I loosened the bolts on it so I can get out of the trailer. I don't think I ever tightened them. Well, naturally just tightening it didn't do it. I realized the pins, little slide pins in there look like hell, so I took it apart and lubed it and put it back on. Now, I can say it's rebuilt because it's getting a brand new cotter pin. There we go. Professional brake rebuild. Well, slight problem, it's kind of got dark on me. But I got a magnetic work light here. I think this is metal. Hey. That's good enough. Definitely need the return spring. There we go. Got a spring on that. Temporary repair, unless of course it works. Okay, one more test drive in the dark. I think that's reverse. Find out in a minute here. Be neutral. Oh, there we go. There's reverse. No. Count it. Yep, clutch definitely still doesn't work. Alright, well, I've been running this thing around a bit here. See how much fuel is left in the tank. I would say that these batteries are quite good. That's nice. Alright, well, that was a pretty good hill. Never felt like it was going to stop. Batteries are cold, wires are cold. There's a fairly steep hill right there. Steep enough I'm actually going to move it down, because we're going down it. Well, made it back down the hill. Still not dead. weight. Could definitely use some more weight in the back or some less shitty tires. I don't know, I just can't get behind the new helmets for Daft Punk. Yeah, I think this valve stem might be on its way out. That's better. Ain't nothing medical science can do for this one, though. This tire off another machine is looking pretty good, but it's not the same thickness through the keyed bit. So this is the previous owner's solution, which is now too long. That's a wheel spacer, apparently. That's my solution, which I believe was also his solution on the other side. So it's worked there, should work here. There we go, good as new. And yeah, exact same thing the last guy did. I'm not sure if that's an endorsement or not, but it's worked. Yeah, I stand corrected. Had a piece of pipe and a hose clamp. The last guy had a pretty good idea here in that he just put the electric motor where the gas motor was. So you just turn on the electric motor and it's like you've got a gas motor running. Trouble was there's a lot of tuning that needs to be done to get this clutch system to work right. And right now, that is all the play that it has. And that's not really enough to disengage it. I've decided that having a clutch on an electric vehicle is kind of dumb. So I've come up with a different plan. You can see that the brake and clutch pedals, they kind of share a shaft under here. It's this guy. All right, I got the deck off of this thing here. We've got the clutch linkage here and the brake linkage here. So my thinking is I'm just going to take the clutch linkage off, just let spring tension hold the clutch on all the time. And then I'm going to hook the brake linkage to the clutch linkage and then try to put a switch on this so that this is gas and that is brakes. I've got the brake linkage, we'll say artistically bent, and hooked into what used to be the clutch over there. And the clutch itself doesn't have anything pulling back on it anymore. It's just got a spring holding it in, and that's all it's got. Well, there we go. It ain't pretty, but that's what we got. So this is a foot starter switch for like an old Chevy or something. I've got this pedal on here. I welded a little tab on there. That should do just fine for that. And I've got that wired through the switch up here. So we've got like a master switch, and then that runs the motor. This is the source of that awful noise before. I didn't show it very well, but this belt was hitting this little guide bar here. Got it all bolted back down. I kind of tweaked that over that way. It's not hitting anywhere now, so should be good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and slap that ugly thing back on top of this and take it for a quick spin. Uh-oh, this thing's got cracks in it. It can't be fully restored if it's got cracks in it. There we go. No more cracks. It's very important to give this the same level of care that the last guy did. There we go. Yeah, it looks like it was always like that. Dry enough. Yeah, let's slap the headlight back on this thing and take it for a spin. All right. Oh, also it doesn't creak half as much as it did because I actually put in bolts to hold this down. So, turn that on, we're in reverse. And now, brakes are good. Hey. I can start over there. Oh, that's a big spider. Yeah, that son of a bitch. Is that a wolf spider? It occurs to me that this thing has a headlight on it already. Unfortunately, I'm running 24 volt, and I'm not sure that these 1156 LED bulbs I had laying around are gonna like that. But there are two of them, so maybe I can wire them in series? Hey, things are getting classy now. I went and put a fuse on it. Looks like I don't want it to burn to the ground or something. Yeah, now when I turn on the master switch, Let there be light. Beauty. Hey, and with the light on, you can't even see where it's cracked. Oh, yes. But the safety doesn't stop there, because went ahead and added a battery cutoff switch. I put it in between the two batteries so that if something shorts out, it can only short out 12 volts rather than 24. I also went ahead and labeled everything, just in case, you know, I somehow forget. Well, I've been trying to figure out if this thing has any practical application, and I got a truck I need to drag back into the shop here, and
highly rated cord.
Yeah, just a random piece of rope here, and I'll be damned, but she's doing it. Well, she was a minute ago. There we go. It did it. We had to add a little bit of weight to it. Traction always being the Achilles heel of any lawn tractor, but yeah, we can put a ballast box on the back of it. Well, I've been thinking about that traction issue, and I went ahead, grabbed a piece of an old snowblower, some other crap, made up a little battery box at the back here. Now my thought was I would take the front battery and put it back here, but that means extending the leads, and copper costs money. I think I have some, but it also occurs to me I've got some dead batteries over there. Yeah, you know that thing about the measuring and the cutting. Let me see if I got a smaller battery. Hey, there we go. The Megatron. And then I've got this little hitch back here. Beauty. I mean, maybe not beauty, but functional. I think this might count as character growth. I have painted this in a bright color so that I won't catch it with my ankle before actually catching it with my ankle. Now that it works, I can't really avoid the conclusion that it shouldn't look like this. Yeah, that looks thick enough to cover some of its sins. Well, the surface finish is worse than expected, however, it is quite yellow. I'm not going to try and tell you that it's a thing of beauty, but I am going to say that it's a lot more beautiful than it was, or at the very least, you know, less offensive. And now it has a name. And also a tramp stamp. I had this video all ready to go and it just didn't seem complete, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I remembered that hill that defeated me the last time. So yeah, we've got a new paint job. That's got to help. I've got controls that don't frighten me much. And I've got a little bit of ballast in behind me. So, let's see if we can do it. Come on, electric torque. Oh yeah. Ha. Well, damn. Easy. You gotta love that. Cool. And there we go, with that slightly unimpressive conquest behind us. Yeah, I think it's time to finally sign off on this video. If you have any ideas on where that motor might have come from and what it might be rated for, or what the previous owner might have been thinking wiring the motor that way, yeah, do let me know down in the comments. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this thing. I suspect it's going to pull a lot of junk around this summer for gardening reasons, but other than that, this is just one more small tractor that we have around the house now. So yeah, let me know. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Oi, mate. Mind the paint. There's a ladder right there, you guys. Hi. What you doing? There's a ladder right there. Frickin' hoof rats.